Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good. It looks like Steve's here. Steve is S.O. Swanson in blue with a wrench. And he says, ta-da! Because he was here half an hour ago. Welcome, Steve. All right. Well, I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare. You are in the right place. If you're here for a live chat, we are here to live and chat. And PJ's here. Welcome, PJ. Hey, friends, she says. Hey, PJ. Um, PJ is a member of the channel, and we are doing our Quick Cook With Me live. We didn't decide, did we? I didn't do that. Let's just do it on the 13th. Is the 13th still open for you? Is that the right date? Is that a Sunday? Hang on, let me see. If you don't know about being a member of the channel, we do a Cook With Me live every month. I'm just looking at my calendar here. And 16th, not 13th. 16th is the date that I would be looking at. Unless you want to do it this Sunday, then we can do it this Sunday. So and Verna's here. Verna is Vase Place with the Blue with a Little Wrench. She's also a moderator and has a live chat on Saturdays. Sorry I'm late. That's okay. It's okay. I was on time. You're still eating pretzels? I just finished mine the other day. They actually mellowed, like not mellowed out, but the flavors blended, which is good. I still think I would put more spices in, and I still think it would be good with mint. But last month, we made chocolate peppered pretzels. So pepper is a black pepper. I think it'd be good with spicy pepper. PJ doesn't like pepper, and so she used saffron instead, and turned out good. So yeah. Anyway, we're talking about the Cook With Me Live. We were going to consider the 9th or the 16th. The 9th is this Sunday. Might be a little too short notice. And I want to make sure members on here if the 16th is okay. We can do it the 9th if you guys want to do the 9th. But 16th would be 2 Sundays from now. So, Verna says, I agree. It would have been better with a spice pepper. Yeah, it could be. Could be better that way. And you guys could watch up here for the deer. I don't know actually if they're over by the apple trees or not. They've been going there several times a day to get the fallen apples. And I think there's 4 different ones that go in pairs. I think one might be a mom and a young one, but not like spot young. I haven't seen any with spots on my property this year. 16th is good? Okay. And then the other one, I was thinking it was from last year, but it's also there with a bigger one, and it's a little boy, and it has just little nubs of antler starting. So, um, yeah. Anyway, and then there's 2 that are adults, and the adults are so small here. They're so small. Okay, PJ, does the 16th work for you? That way we can just decide, and I can announce it, and then I'll have time to get you guys the ingredients. We are making Hungarian goulash is what we'll be making on the 16th. All right, so the 16th this month, 2 Sundays from now, we'll be making Hungarian goulash. The special ingredient needed for this is Hungarian paprika, which we read up on that, and there's like 8 different categories of Hungarian paprika. I was surprised to find it at my local grocery store. Yes, the one in this town. This town of 800 and something. The local grocery store had it. So, if you're in this town and you're looking for it, too bad I took the only and last one. But it's a big one, so, maybe I can share. Anyway, so that's the special ingredient. Beef is the other special ingredient. We will also be making noodles to go with it. And I'm thinking I might um, use my garbanzo bean flour, chickpea, whatever you want to call it, because I made chickpea flour from chickpeas that I had cooked in rabbit bone broth. I cooked that up, blended it up, freeze dried it, and then powdered it. And so my idea was to do a whole bunch of things with it, and one of which is what's the thing you dip stuff? Hummus. Is hummus. It's a quick ingredient to mix with other things to make hummus. And then I was thinking about doing pasta, so I think I'll explore with that, and hopefully that will work. If not, we'll see. We'll see what else I can do. Um, anyway, so that'll be good. So Hungarian goulash and uh, I think noodles is a like wide egg noodles is kind of the thought there. Sorry, I'm taking it on my hair. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts anyway. And so anybody else who's listening that's a member, um, the 16th is what we've decided on. Let me actually put it in here so I remember. Dur, 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 dur. Okay. And so we'll be making Hungarian goulash and noodles on the 16th. That is noon 30, 12:30, noon 30 on the 16th of this month, August 2026. All right. So I hope everybody's doing well. Um, I did something that I haven't done all summer today, and that is cook in my car. I made rabbit in the car and it turned out good, like it always does. If you are curious about cooking in the car, there'll be a video out on, I might as well make that one Tuesday. I'll do a video out on Tuesday for cooking in your car. I do have other videos as a dashboard cooking playlist, and you can make all sorts of stuff. I'll probably do cookies tomorrow. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can make in your car. There you go. All right, so Verna is clarifying we are noon 30 on the Pacific Coast and 3:30 for East Coasters. There you go. Um, yeah, so that'll be good. That'll be good. Um, if you don't know about the membership, it's super affordable. It's just a few dollars a month, and we get together every month. And if you do the membership, you can also look back on past Cook With Me lives, and that is only open to members. So there's a whole playlist that is members only. So there you go. PJ says, I have more nasturtium flowers, all different colors, baby cucumbers, some tomatoes, and carrots too. Awesome! I have some green tomatoes. I did finish eating the basil that I harvested the other day for the video that went out today. Thank you for the link, Mr. Steve. And yeah, but nasturtiums are absolutely wonderful. When I do my food forest, I want to plant nasturtiums, and I have to figure out how they work here because it does freeze colder than other places. Um, actually, I should ask you because it freezes where you are. But isn't this your first year growing it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm wondering if I can naturalize it in my food forest or if I'm going to have to plant it every year. But it's a great ground cover. It's really good for medicinal things. So it's a I don't remember what all it is. It's medicinal. It's like general um, body boosting stuff, but it tastes really good. Yeah. Um, Verna's working on getting two by four raised beds ready for fall garden. Awesome. Awesome. You don't know, PJ? Okay. Yeah, I love nasturtiums. I think they're tasty, they're pretty, they're everything. Yeah. But they do definitely die back with a good frost or freeze. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I did start cooking in the car today. It got up to it got up to 101, I think, is what it got up to today. It's 97 right now. And so you can definitely cook in the car. And if you don't want to do meat like I did today, like rabbit, is what I did today. And I have a special way of doing that. So it amplifies the, you make your car into a solar oven, and then how I do a special thing that makes it even hotter. So you can cook meat in your car. But you can cook cookies in your car. That was my standard for a long time. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. I got butter out today. So there you go. Adam's here. Hello, everyone. Here for a little while, slowly being smoked by wildfire smoke and 100 plus temps. Yeah, how hot is it there? It got to 101 here. He's about an hour south of me. We've been getting haze, but not like I don't smell it. It's just haze from the fires. That's from the north. Yeah. Misty's here. Hello, hello. Hello, neighbor Misty. Hope you're doing good. Have you heard from your bear lately? There's a mama bear with triplets somewhere. And Howie's here. Food for us permaculture. Welcome, Howie. How are your figs doing, Howie? I'm jealous of figs right now because I miss them. Um, free solar oven. That's right, Steve. Thanks for the link. Um, the apples are dropping. I have yet to actually harvest the apples from that one tree that the apples are dropping on. I've eaten some, but I need to actually do a harvest. The deer are clean. It's not dropping so much that the deer don't keep up with it, so it's okay. But I'm harvesting from the ground right now, and so are the deer. But I do have a picker that I can do that. Oh, Missy says trail cam is back up and no signs of the beautiful bears. Yeah. Well, they're probably around. Howie says picking lots every day and sharing with the village people. Videos up. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I miss figs. I was just getting to where there was figs. Like, I had planted, like, scions, like, just sticks of lots of different varieties. And it was, I think it was just about to fruit. And then I moved. Should have brought them with me, but I didn't. Shawnee's here. Welcome, Shawnee. Hope you're doing well. I was on Shawnee's program last week. If you didn't catch it, I think I linked it on the Friends of Sow and Tare um, group. But yeah, it was a good conversation, and we had a good time. So that's good. Replant. Yeah, no, there will be. I will be replanting things. I will be replanting things, Howie. I just need the rest of the trees to come out of the food forest area, and then I can fence it, and then I can do water and plant things. So there's lots of and thens. Um, having the having the tree stuff not get done before fire season started more heavily was a little bit of a detriment, but um, honestly, digging holes over the summer, even if I have an auger, but even doing that, it'll be easier once we've had a couple rains. So I don't want to do it in like the slush slosh muddy pit, but I do want to do. I think it'll be easier once the ground has softened. Yeah. Shawnee says so many great points made in that live. Very cool. Absolutely. Thank you for inviting. Adam says temperature. My temperature station. I have one and I haven't put it up because it's going on a. In fact, you guys are on it. You guys have been on it every live for a long time. He's talking. Tempest is a weather station. I have a Davis. I was going to put them next to each other. Anyway, Tempest is a weather station that it has your weather. It also does lightning detection and a whole bunch of other stuff, and you can access it from your phone. The Davis one I have has a unit that you can see, but you can't access it from your phone. And so um, that's what that is. Anyway, Adam says, my Tempest station max temp was 105.8, currently 102. The smoke started blowing into the valley a couple days ago. Yep, this is, I think, day 3, I think, of smoke. But it's not down yet. It's just, you look out and you see it. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are always hotter in the summer than us. Thank you for the link, Steve. If you're interested in checking out Shawnee had me on her channel amongst other gardeners. There's a link there. Yeah. And Verna says, "Oh my, Adam, be safe." Food. Howie says, "Goji tore up the front of my right leg, so I'm taking it easy. Just treated it." Oh, big thorns on goji. There's different kinds of goji. Again, had, I had a wolfberry, which is related to goji berry, but it was from somewhere. Um, Baja California, I think, is where it was from. And that had thorns. It had teeny tiny flowers and teeny tiny fruits that were very good. Yeah. And Johnny says, "Oh no." Right. Front right leg and thought four legs? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's different kinds of goji berries. There's some that don't have as many thorns and some that don't have any, I think, and some that do. A fly has found itself inside. That is not fun. Okay. Misty, you signed up for that? I did not sign up for it. Um, she says tree school is August 21st, 8:30 to 4:45, $70 at Umpqua Community College. It sounded like a lot of the stuff they were going to go over. I think I might already know. Yeah. So Howie's saying Chinese wolfberry. Is Chinese wolfberry what we call goji berry? Like, is it the same thing, or is it a variety? Is it like a specific variety? You're a reptile for sure. Oh my gosh. Oh, nice. Verna says Lucy's surgery healed well. Could barely tell where it was now. Lucy is her doggy and who had a growth removed. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. And I saw the love she's getting. Okay. It's a variety. Got it. Got it. Well, Misty, tell me how that goes. I saw the ad for that we got in the mail, and um, it it looked like it might be kind of beginning interesting. It could be really interesting, but it looked more like it was more basics, but it might not be. So I'll look forward to hearing how it went. Yeah. Everybody's saying nice and awesome, Verna, about Lucy. Very good. Good, good. All right, so I just cooked rabbit in my car today, and if you haven't seen this channel before, you're like, what, that crazy lady? I'm switching channels. No, I've been doing this for a long time. Um, Dashboard cooking is a real thing. It started with cooking cookies on the dashboard when I was working in the field. Come back, fresh chocolate chip cookies. Go home, the whole ride smells like chocolate chip cookies. What could be better, right? And then I've cooked a variety of things on my dashboard as well. So it is basically a solar oven. It's a very expensive solar oven, but if you already have it, it's really cheap. Because you can spend some money on solar ovens, but guess what? If you have a car, you have a solar oven. Um, anyway, so I want to hear from you guys. I know a couple of you guys have tried this, but if you have tried it, what have you tried? And if you haven't, are you willing to? It's good. It's good. Um, yeah. Face the car south, set it up the way I set it up, and you can cook a lot of things. We could have made the pretzels on the dashboard. Baking is an interesting thing. I did coffee cake one time, and what I came to realize is that it's more liquid than like when you cook meat. There's not a whole lot of liquid in it. Yes, there's a lot of liquid that comes out of it, but it's mostly dry, right? I mean, it's not like it's gonna taste dry. I'm just saying like it's mostly solid. Whereas something like a cake or a batter has more moisture. The pretzels maybe not, but I did a coffee cake once and I had to finish it in the oven. Um, but it was a big thing. So I think if you have like those little, like the little bread container ones, and make them smaller. I think that would work really well. Um, yeah, and again, yeah, we could have done the pretzels on the dash, but then it would be even longer. So yeah, our cook with me lives can be pretty long. Sometimes we're just chatting, and then other times we're making things and chatting. But yeah, um, so you can totally do biscuits, even like the biscuits that you get out of the tube, you know? PJ says, okay, time to experiment. Exactly. You're going to be on that new property with no house on it yet. You might as well use your car, huh? Yeah. So there's limitations. Sweet potatoes does not cook well. You could reheat a cooked sweet potato for sure. For sure. When I started doing this, I started doing it because um, I have these little glass containers of like Pyrex or Anchor that you can cook in the oven and stuff. And um, I I would bring my food in like lunch in there, and I have a reflective visor thing, the reflector that keeps your car cooler, and I would always shove it between that and the glass for the in the front of the car, and it would get hot. It would get so hot. The glass would be hard to touch. I mean, if you've ever burnt yourself on a seatbelt, you know what I'm talking about. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is a solar oven. I'm just reheating things, but I bet you could cook things. And it took me a long time until I got to let's try meat. I started with quail, um, and it turned out great. So it's my favorite way to cook meat, actually. So anyway, but you can only do. Uh, I would only do meat if it's like high 90s or above. Um, you can try it at lesser temperatures, but yeah, I need to get an actual like non-digital thermometer, like an oven thermometer to go in there. I haven't done that. I've done like a little Govee and it just stops working. It gets too hot and it stops working. But you know it's hot when you stab the fork into the meat and you go like this and it comes off the bone and steam goes. Psh. So anyway, but if you don't want to start with that, start with cookies. Cookies or like crescent rolls or biscuits from, those containers, the tubes that you can pop. Those cook really well in there. Um, like I said, I'm going to do cookies tomorrow. So grouping areas. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if I got close to a wasp nest or not, but I heard lots of. So the bald-faced hornets to me sound like big flies. So I heard a bunch of big flies, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I do not. And I know that I have one lady that's picking off some of my bees, which is actually okay because she's also going to pick off the yellow jackets, and the yellow jackets are probably going to be easier to catch. So anyway, um, lots of buffering today, and Steve says so. I'm not alone in the hourglass. Is anybody else having issues with buffering? I don't know what to do about it if it is, but I've been doing it a lot tonight. PJ, Howie, are you having issues with buffering? Let me actually type that. Um, you're good. Well, you're good now. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, um, 3 times. I would say maybe press refresh on the browser. Oh, how he's gone. Okay. Um, yeah, maybe press refresh on the browser. Uh, anyway, so so yeah, if you guys haven't, is it on my side? I have fiber internet and I'm like 15 feet away from the router, so I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay. Steve's gonna change a setting. Okay. The smoke is messing with my connection. Probably not, because I have fiber and then I'm inside and the router's like right there, so it should be good. I have heard that in town they've been losing power every morning, and somebody said it's because they're doing the power pole replacements. I don't know if that's happening yet. Someone, yeah, if someone is someone that lives in town knows that, let me know. I have solar, so it doesn't affect me because I'm on solar right now, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, but the smoke shouldn't mess with that because it's all closed line. Um, and the smoke that we're getting here is not from fires here. It's from fires. I don't know if we're getting it from Central Oregon or from Washington, but as far as I know, there's nothing right here. So, yeah. Adam says it's got to be an issue here in Southern Oregon. Verna, my internet has been lagging since I got home today. Interesting. I've been working on it all day for work and it hasn't been lagging. But I have, well, I have something that I don't think goes that far south. I have Douglas County Fastnet. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Hopefully it's better. I was actually surprised that they had um, fiber here because it's out a little ways, but I think several years several years ago there was a push for rural internet access, and I think that must have been um, associated with the funds for that, which is fine. I'm good with that. Even though you're on fiber, it also goes through. Is that supposed to say satellites? I don't know how it works. I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah, but yeah, we have had smoke. Um, but even when I was down collecting blackberries yesterday after work, it was like that you could see the smoke, but you couldn't smell it. Like it was higher up. So yeah. Um, I should have asked Howie if he's getting smoke that direction too, or if it's all coming south. But I think he's off now. Yeah. It's okay, Verna. I was just like, wait, what? Adam and you are not Verna. Love your statement. I am Verna. I know you're responding to her. It's just funny. Um, that's right. How he left to water the cucumbers. That's good. I had some cucumbers with my dinner today. Well, snack dinner. I don't know. That my neighbor brought me. Yeah, yeah. So I'll be really curious. I don't know if you guys saw the video today or not, but I'll be really curious um, if the cayenne peppers are actually cayenne peppers or if there's something else because they look really big for a cayenne pepper. I'm used to cayenne peppers being not that size. So I know there's different varieties of things, but I wonder if someone put in the wrong seed packet. And I got my plant starts this year from a few different people. So like I don't know which one was which. So I would be like, hey, what could this be if you didn't plant this? But yeah, yeah. Steve being silly. Um, Verna thinks they are Hungarian hots. The ones on my video. I don't think I've had that. Where's my mouse? There you are. Let me look that up. Hot pepper. I mean, it's kind of a general shape. They are pretty skinny, but they're not as skinny as the ones that I remember. So, anyway, um, we'll find out. We'll find out whether or not they're cayenne at least. Um, a lot of people don't know some of this. The spice rack in my kitchen. There's all jars from the store, but I do refill them with things that I grow sometimes. So, like the cayenne pepper that's in there right now is cayenne pepper that I roasted and freeze dried and then powdered outside and let it settle before putting it in. Yeah, you don't want to do that inside unless you want to cry. All right, Brenna. Um, yeah, so I found that interesting, but they're doing good. I did notice that the it looks like different areas of the property are ripening at different times for the blackberries. I have gone up the hill. There's a couple good spots up the hill. They actually might be in their full time right now. I should probably do that this weekend. Um, but yeah, when I did my first picking, it was really just like the tips of things, and then as things ripen, they go from the tip of the clump backwards towards the plant, and so that there's a lot coming on. I mean, there's a lot, and I want to try and make a concerted effort to do a lot of picking this year. So far, I have a gallon and a half in the freezer, and that's from two pickings. And I had enough for something with a meal from each of those pickings. That doesn't include that's additional. So yeah, I'm hoping to have a lot more. Um, and I figured out the book I need to get. I know I've been talking about this for a while, but I figured out the book I need to get. No, I don't remember the name of it. I think I looked it up on here. Let's see if it's still up. Let's see if it's still up. Um, and no, it's not. Yes, it is. Yeah, so I think the. Okay, well, it just kicked it off. There we go. The book that I was looking for is Basic Butchering of Livestock and Game. I think that's the one that I was looking for. There's another one that came up. You know how, like, when you search for books and it's like, oh, people who bought this also bought this. And it was a book for smoking and curing. So I might get both of those um, because I want to do a bunch of stuff with rabbit to make like sausage and other things. I do have some beef fat in the freezer. It's pretty old, but that's okay. We can use it. And I'll also be seeing if there's anybody local that has butchered either pigs or cattle that have extra fat. Because that is the thing with some of these uh, mixed specialty things, or like sausage and I don't know if you can make pepperoni probably, right, but it needs fat. um, Rabbit doesn't have a whole lot of fat, and so it needs more fat. So that's an ingredient that I'll be uh, hopefully looking for locally. um, yeah, yeah, so if anybody knows anybody who has nice healthy good fat in the area, let me know. All right. Steve says, for picking blackberries, I do two for me, one for the bucket, two for me, one for the bucket, two from the bucket to me. I understand this. I do understand this. I've actually been pretty good about not eating too many when I'm picking, um, because I've been focused more on the picking. So that's typically what I do, and then I end up eating berries for a meal, and I'm like, I should really eat more than berries for a meal. Um, but I do try them from each bush and from the different sides of the bush too. Not that it would matter, I would still pick them, but I just kind of want to know what flavor I'm getting, and then because they're going to be a little different, and then also like, is it more sweet or more tart? There is there is one area that I know has a lot less sweet fruits, and if I get doing to getting them from there, I will separate those ones, and I'll probably make a jelly or a pie or something with them that you add sugar to, um, just because they are more tart, and I can do that. But I do know those plants now, so like my first year here, I really got a sense of what the flavors were around um, my property for the blackberries. I didn't do a whole lot of harvesting, like putting things up, but I did get a lot of, um, did get a lot of berries um, in my belly. And so I could see like which ones were sweeter, which ones were more tart and all that. So yeah, but I understand this, and you always end up with like purple hands. Yeah. Yep. Um, yeah, I've been freezing them in quart bags, and that I think is a pretty good size. I don't know how many cups it is. I probably should be measuring it, but I'm not. Um, but I've been putting them in quart size bags and kind of flattening them out and then freezing them. And so I think that'll be good amount coming out of the freezer to do something with, or to, you know, just eat on ice cream or yogurt or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, my next food goal as far as like doing things with the produce, um, obviously once the tomatoes come on, I'm gonna be doing sauces and stuff. Um, I will be continuing to pick the basil and use that. But as far as like mass stuff, I do want to do some things with the rabbit and make that into, sausages. And I don't know about curing yet, but I really like pepperoni, and I feel like maybe if I make it myself out of the meat that I have, it probably would be better for me, right? Anyway, so if anybody has experience doing that kind of thing, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be looking up out of this other book. There's some recipes in it and stuff. Um, I'll be looking up that as to kind of start my base and then go from there. But yeah, and I have a grinder on on it's attachment. It's not a KitchenAid attachment, but it's an attachment for my KitchenAid. I don't remember the brand of it, but there's so if you have a KitchenAid mixer, it has an attachment in the front, and it's the same exact attachment as like the first ones they made. Like when my grandma's one has the same attachment spot as mine does. So like when she had like when it was at her house and we would make stuff there, the same attachments would fit there as here. And I really like that because they don't change it. So it's like everything fits, therefore you can get different brands of things that fit your KitchenAid. So like the grinder, the KitchenAid doesn't make a grinder, but somebody else does, and you can put it in the attachment area and it works. And it's more likely to work than some other brands that don't have like very specific attachment sizes and stuff. But yeah, yeah. Um, Steve says you can sprinkle lime around the bushes that are not as sweet. Blackberries like acidic soil. I don't know where the acidity line changes. It has to be acidic because my water is acidic. My water is like there's a pH up thing in the well house because it's more acidic than it should be. It's not like acid gonna melt me, but and it does have in that area is where the flow through well drips the extra water down. So I'm guessing there should be already it should be acidic enough over there. But yeah, good to know. I think it's more that it's in the shade than it's acidic. I think it's more than it's in the shade. Um, I could be wrong, but yeah. But yeah, I think berries in general like it more acidic. I mean, I know blueberries, cranberries, yeah. Um, a lot of plants like it slightly acidic. Just on one side of neutral. But yeah, any deer yet? I don't see any. Yeah, they've been around. Britta says, with the meat grinder attachment, you should also have the sausage stuffer with it. I do. Yeah, I do. I'm just not sure of using the what is it that you use? You use either intestines, which it would have to be cleaned out very, very well. Or what is the other stuff made out of? Does anybody know? I can look it up, but talking about like what gets stuffed. I think for sausage, honestly, just doing a grind that's like a you can use like sausage patties, I think would be fine. But yeah, I don't know what that other stuff is. It's either natural and that's an intestine, and then I don't know what the not natural stuff is, or not what the not intestine stuff is. But yeah, what would be really nice is if I got like I know I'm not really a venison person. I like elk, but deer, what I've had, it's been just okay. Um, but put that into a sausage and jalapeno meat stick, which I'm sure is so processed, then I will eat those all day. So like doing stuff like that um, will improve my variety of things. Okay, sausage casings, this is from Steve, are made from natural animal intestines or artificial materials like collagen, cellulose, and plastic. Plastic? Who's doing plastic? That's not good. Um, Verna says you can buy them. Some are veggie type casings as well as intestines. Um, and Verna's checking. Artificial ones use processed animal protein, wood fibers, or synthetic polymers. Yeah. I don't know. It's just with all of the I'm signed up to get um like the recalls on food like USDA recalls and there's so many that like listeria is in all the lunch meat and E. coli is in, all the lettuce and then there's that new parasite that's in who knows what, right? Um I'm just thinking that probably buying cleaned intestines from someone is, in this day and age, personally, maybe not the smartest thing to do. I could be completely wrong, but it seems like there's a lot of things that get overlooked these days. Yeah. Um, but yes, the grinder did come with that, and I think there's two different sizes. So like you could do like a hot dog style sausage, or you could do like a breakfast sausage. So yeah. Okay. Verna expects me to pronounce this thing. Von Siong halal sausage casing. Grade A edible drying collagen sausage casings for flavorous homemade sausages. Okay. Verna, can you send me the link for that? Like on Facebook? Or no, you can't because you're on this, can't you? Yeah. Um, because I mean, if it's made out of something that makes sense, then that's fine. But I'm not saying intestines are gross. I'm saying that the chances that there is something gross still in the intestines is higher than it should be. Oh yeah, eggs. Called the callback of millions and millions of eggs. Guys, I wash my eggs even if I get them from the store, which I haven't gotten them from the store for a while. Thank you, Verna. Um, but I wash them even if I get them from the store because I'm sorry I know where they come out of. Not I'm not sorry that I know that where they come out of. I'm sorry, comma. I know where they come out of and what else comes out of that same place. And if you don't know, everything is the answer. Everything that comes out of a chicken comes out of one place. And therefore, I think washing it is good. Um, all right, I gotta go on to. I'm on StreamYard, so I gotta go on to my thing here to get the link. Thank you. All right, thanks. So, so Verna, Steve got it. I'll take a look at that. Any other things you can think of, like along the lines of sausage or pepperoni or something like that? Yeah, thank you, Steve. That you can think of that I can turn my rabbits into. That would be welcome because I've not done any of that stuff, and so if there's any suggested recipes or suggested books to go from, I'm totally open to that. And like I said, I'm going to start with this one book that I know from a few people is a pretty good resource. So yeah, and go from there. PJ, you have an indoor smoker. Have you smoked meat like have you smoked sausages and stuff like that? Have you done any of that as like a preservation thing, or have you just like used it as a cooking for now thing? She has a. It's a really cool. It's a countertop smoker. Like you plug it in, and I don't know how it works, but we've had a couple conversations about that on our live, our member live. So anyway, so the garden's looking good. Apple tree is appling. Oh, thank you, Verna. Thank you, Verna. She sent me all the links for all of them. Thank you. Okay, so PJ's answering me what she's smoked. Hot dogs and sausages I bought, but not preserved yet in it. I'm just wondering, like, you know how sometimes appliances that are electric, when they're not supposed to be electric, don't operate as well? Do you think it operates well? The your indoor electric smoker? I mean, I know you're just basing it off of your own experience. You can't cold smoke yet. Is that because the indoor one doesn't do the cold smoke? Is the cold smoke the preservation one? Here's the thing, you guys need to teach me these things. I've I've watched some channels that have done this, but not when I had the mind to do it. So I have to like rewatch some things. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I that makes sense, Verna. The casings are clean and dried and have to soak them before you use them. That makes sense. Um, it reminds me of those rice paper things that the wraps come in. They're just these like brittle discs until they hit the water. Yeah. Oh, it's too hot inside. So the machine can cold smoke, but it puts off heat. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, any flavor combinations, suggestions is a good idea. I want to make a bunch of different things and see, have some more variety. Because right now I pretty much only raise rabbits, and that's pretty much what I'm eating unless I go out. Now, for next on the 16th, on Sunday the 16th, we are making Hungarian goulash, the Cook With Me Live group, the members, and that is a beef recipe. So I do actually have some in the freezer um, to pull out to use for that. But most of the stuff I do um, rabbit, and it would just be good to have some different variety within the same species. So yeah. PJ says I'll figure out a cold smoke at some point. Yeah. Well, keep me updated because it might be in my future. We'll see. If you guys have any other gadgets that are like that, let me know. Um, yeah. All right. So my garden hasn't produced ripe tomatoes yet, but it is. I think it's not far off, and I'm really hoping it comes on strong, and I get lots and lots and lots of tomatoes, and I can make lots and different sauces because that's generally what I do. I mean, I like fresh tomatoes, but I really like them as a sauce. So, um, and I don't generally grow like I think once I grew Romas, but I don't generally grow the paste tomatoes. Paste tomatoes will get you there faster, but they'll not taste as super yummy. I mean, it's still good, but having the heirlooms in there, it absolutely is just awesome. Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay, Steve says for your animal fat, you could buy a pork belly unsalted and just cut the fat off of it. You know, I don't buy pork, and so like pork is not a. I like bacon, and the lard is fine, but I don't buy pork. It doesn't speak to me as something that's yummy. Like ham, I also am not a fan of, but so I need to look up what pork belly looks like. I know that's where the bacon comes from, is that general area, right? Boneless, fatty cut of meat from the underside of the pig, famous for its rich marbling. Oh, it is the raw material used to make bacon. Prized globally for its melt in your mouth texture when slow cooked, braised, or roasted until crisp. Wait. It's a melt in your mouth texture when it's roasted until crisp? AI, come on. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I can't really tell what the cut is. I mean, I know it's the belly, but all these are just cooked up things. But yeah, I can mix some things. That's fine with me. Yeah. Misty, is that the place in Grants Pass, like on your way to the Grange? Cartwrights? It sounds familiar, but it's also like a big name in a movie. What was it? Is it what was that show? Bonanza? Isn't that the one of the families in Bonanza? Anyway, pork belly is how they make bacon. I know, but then it would just be bacon, and I like bacon. Okay, PJ says I have a tube to put pellets in to light and can smolder in a barbecue grill or grill off to cold smoke. Okay, that makes sense. I think I've seen those. I think I've seen those. Um, Verna says temperature and whether the meat is cooked. Hot smoking uses heat 125 to 275 to cook the meat and adds smoke flavor at the same time. Cold smoking uses low temperatures below 90 only to flavor and preserve the meat, leaving it raw and requiring prior curing. Yep. Yeah, these are all things I need to learn. And I didn't ever think of rabbit as being a meat that I would cure because you always think of that as being like pork. But there you go. Hey, I got something right. Family on Bonanza were the Cartwrights. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I have a feeling that that whole different way of processing meat, um, I'm going to be learning maybe this fall. I'm thinking after, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about doing a bunch of grind for the rabbits that I just recently processed. They're in the freezer now. Um, I'm thinking about cutting off the bone, a bunch of them on Sunday. Saturday, if you guys are around town in Glendale, Oregon, that is the day for the community-wide garage sale. So I'll be at the CCVCA booth. That's our local group in town at the park, and we're gonna have a tent there with some garage sale stuff. I have no idea what it will be yet. And then I think there's a couple other people doing garage sales in the park, and then we actually have a if you joined the local group, we actually have a like a Google Maps thing to see where all the garage sales are. So yeah, I'll be in town. Um, looking at that. All right. PJ saying night night. Okay, friends, night night. Good night, PJ. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I hope we have good things on the horizon. I know we do. I know we do. So yeah. Anyway, so after Saturday, I am going to be fairly prepared to start doing some additional rabbit processing. They're already gone, like they're already and they're in the freezer, but I want to do some additional things with the meat. And so I think what I'll do is maybe on Sunday I'll spend that cutting meat off the bone for a bunch of them, and then depending on what the day looks, I might grind it. Now, if you do use a grinder, it's best if the chunks of meat are either frozen or nearly frozen. It grinds much better that way, and yeah. So I'm probably gonna do a bunch of grind, and then at some later point, yeah, maybe at some later point, I'll add in fat to where it needs to be um, and make the different things. But I should probably at least cut the meat off the bones and then make bone broth, and that'll get some room in the freezer. Um, and grinding it will give even more room in the freezer. So, yeah, that's good. So I can put more berries in the freezer. Also, for those watching this later, I know a couple people reach out to me about rabbit pelts, and I have not counted them yet. The person who had asked me about 5 of them, I set that aside for you, and I need to get back to you on that. And then for the other person that asked about a large quantity, I have not gotten into the freezers and counted yet because it's just been hot, and I didn't want to leave the freezer open that long. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that Sunday morning or Saturday night, whenever it's cool, um, and organize things in the freezer because the freezers are a little bit of everything. You know, some here, some there, some there, and there, and yeah. So anyway, uh, I will probably be doing that this weekend, counting how many pelts I have because I have a lot, and then what else I have in there as well because I know I have. If people are interested in dog treats, there's heads and feet, and that's really all I'm expecting to find. So, yeah. Anyway, there we go. And that's what's going on here. What else? What else? What else? Anything coming up, guys? What else coming up? August is coming up. August is here. um, yeah. Janet is here. Is this Janet that is really starts with a B? Hi. Do I have a compost or compost? Um, I do not have compost. I have rabbit manure, which I'm using because I'm still in the process of setting things up. Okay, thank you. Should I call you Janet on here? um, so yeah, so I don't have compost yet. If you have compost, yeah, I'd like some compost that is nice and doesn't have tons of weeds in it. But yeah, I'm using the rabbit manure a lot, and I know everybody as soon as they know I have rabbits, they're like, "Oh, you have manure? Can I have some manure?" I'm like, "I'm using it. I'm like setting things up." But yeah, um, that's what I have right now. And then, oh, here's some news. This is a long running thing where there's been rats in the chicken coop. I fixed most of the holes, found out there was one more hole, and now I'm seeing there's two. So these rats are showing me where my mistakes are. I did put the ratinator in there. I wired it open. You guys haven't. I don't have I talked to you guys about this? I don't know. Um, oh yes. Yeah, Janet, I can take them if you want. You can make stuff. You can make that into stuff. Nectarine scraps. You can make that into stuff. Um, yeah, I can. I also have a worm bin too. I don't know. I don't know what a lot of, but uh, yeah, I want to know where you're getting nectarines. That's what I want to know. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Steve says, with all the rabbit feet you have, you should be pretty lucky. I know they weren't very lucky for the rabbits though. Okay. Yeah, I've actually when I've done stuff with peaches or I haven't really done much with nectarines because I ended up just eating them. But when I've done stuff with peaches, as far as skinning stuff, what I ended up doing is I ended up drying um, the uh, the peels and kind of eating them like chips, and that worked really well. So, oh, non-moldy stuff, yeah. In your yard came with a nectarine tree when we moved in. That is awesome. Nectarines are awesome. I used to have a nectarine tree at my old place. It was called Snow Queen nectarine, and I got it because someone told me it's the best nectarine ever, and it's true. They did not tell me that it doesn't fruit well every year. In fact, it's a pretty horrible fruiter. It's not very good at doing its job, but when it does, it's delicious. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I can do something with it for sure. Um, Misty says, yes, just past the Asante Hospital, they have everything related to me. I need to stop in there one time. I haven't stopped there, and I always forget where exactly it is, and it's never on my mind when I go down there. Because if I'm going down that direction, it's typically to the Grange. And when I go there, it's like there and back. Yeah. Yeah, Janet, I can take that. I can take that. Um, yes. So she also says, I put a lot of care into taking care. I put a lot of care into getting this one to do well. Do you know what kind it is? Or at the very least, is it like an orange or like a yellow one or a white one? The Snow Queen nectarine is a white one. It's white on the inside, and it's like a white with blush on it on the outside. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Um, oh, and I have the canner by the front door. She's gonna be borrowing the canner. Yeah. Um, Yellow flesh, no idea what variety. Yeah, if it didn't have like a tag on it when you're there, you're probably not gonna figure out the variety. But as long as it's good, I mean, you're welcome. Yeah, the yellow flesh, no idea what variety. Yeah, nectarines are good. I don't know that I've ever had a bad nectarine, knock on wood, but they're all good. Um, Especially if you can have a tree that you can pick something off of. Yum. My favorite. I really wish it was in a catalog somewhere so I could get it. I need to ask someone who's in California in the California Rare Fruit Growers group if they have it. Andy's Orchard, which I don't know if they're still open. I think they were planning on closing. It's in Morgan Hill in California. If you are near Morgan Hill and it's still going, let me just look up real quick. Let me see if it's still going. Andy's Orchard. Um, Morgan Morgan Hill. Let's see. So they do. See if they're still open. Looks like they are. Looks like they're still open. So, um, let me share this real quick. I don't know if they're past their last tasting or not, but let me share this. No, I'm not doing that. I am doing share screen. All right. So this is Andy's Orchard. It's just outside of Morgan Hill in California in the Bay Area, and they do they ship dried fruit. They do that, but the fresh fruit is amazing. And if you ever get the chance, like look at this, it's so awesome. If you ever get the chance, go to one of the events, and basically they have tastings, and they're awesome. Okay, August 15th sold out. Okay. Well, next year maybe. But the tastings are not expensive at all. Children 10 and under free. General is 25, seniors 22. Yeah, and this is exactly it. Events often sell out. Book early to avoid disappointment. So, let's see. End of June, all throughout July, and midway through August is when they do it. But they have all these tastings. Let's see. Well, they have all these tastings that oh, okay. So here's where the different things are. So there's one June one that has cherries and it's a cherry tasting. And you literally go there and there's tons of different kinds of cherries. And then the next season you have some of these, and the next season you have some of, different kinds. Um, I don't think they do tasting in December, but there's different kinds throughout the summer, and you can go there and you can taste all these fruits. Like you have all these tastings that happens, and then if you go on the orchard tour with them, which doesn't cost any extra, what they've done is they time these for after they've harvested, and there's still fruit left because they only harvest what's ripe. And then basically for a $25 entrance, you get tastings and you get to see the orchards, and At least when I was there, if you could pick it and eat it, you could have it. And so we were all walking out of there with our tummies this far out because we were all, eating all the fruit. But man, they have a nectarine. It's called the Silk Road nectarine, and I don't think it's commercially available. But if it ever does become commercially available, I'm getting some. I do know when Scion exchanges happens, he has in the past had Scions there. Scion is the like it's a when they prune, they cut off a branch, and you can actually save that branch and put it on a different tree, and that will grow nectarines now, or whatever that branch is. And so there's California River Fruit Growers Scion exchanges that happens during the winter, so January, February, and I think there might be one in March, in different places. And so I need to go down there during that and like see if I can get this going and, you know, get a tree made. Maybe have someone make a tree for me, so that then I can come get it like the next year or something. Because I absolutely love the Silk Road nectarine. It does not last at all. It has like no shell, no counter life at all, but it's delicious. And if you get it dried, it's not the same. I got some dried and it's just like, it's kind of fine. But if you get it fresh, it's awesome. All right, here we go. Um, Steve says bees would like the flesh juiced on those skins. That is true. I wouldn't do that though because it would. Number one, they have blackberries they can munch on, and they do. They can use their mouth and bite into the little berry bits and suck out the juices. They do that when it gets hot. Um, and two, I don't want to attract too many things because we have, bears and foxes and raccoons and stuff like that. So I want to do it in a managed way, for sure. Oh, I was talking the Radinator. I'll go back to that after we talked about this. Okay, Verna says taste is all that matters, really. I agree. I agree. Ooh, Janet's gonna bring me stuff. And it's weird to call you Janet. Awesome. All right, Verna says, blessings all. I have to get some sleep. Been a rough week. Good night, Verna, and I hope it cools off where you are. Oh, Missy says it's been so dicey with all the fires around us. I'm advocating that it would be smart to have a jump bag ready to go. What do you think? Grants Pass blew up so fast this last week. Uh, is a jump bag a go bag? Is that the same thing? Yeah. Grants Pass. So I was actually down there for the fair. That's what I did. Duh. That's what I did. Um, I was down there with the Southern Oregon Beekeepers Association on Saturday, and we had a booth there at the fair in Grants Pass, and we had an observation hive. So it was really cool, and people could find the queen and all of that. Very very neat, very fun, and everybody had fun. But I had gone down there. Let's see, I was there from 2 to 9, so I'd gone down there like just after 12, and there had been a blackened area like maybe 50 feet long by 20 or 30 feet, uphill, and there were people there with trucks and lights going, and it'd been put out. And then like 3 o'clock or three something, everybody's watch duty app started going off, and it's like, what? And they're like, well, it can't be that same fire. It was out. It was cold out. Like, what? And I drove past this week when I was up there or down there, and it was a different fire. Yeah. And on Monday there was another fire. I mean, then they were very close to each other, but there was another fire on Monday, just north of Grants Pass, and luckily they got it out before it like got to the fence and like didn't get the building that was right there. So yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, Misty. And I know I haven't put together that list yet, but I should be doing that. Um, yeah, is a jump bag the same as a go bag? That's the question, because I have not heard the term jump bag. But yeah, for sure. I just hope that people are smart and don't start things, but you never know. Yeah, that fire that happened on Saturday, I think it started from the freeway. Um, that's just my guess because there's fire there and it went uphill. And I know it burned. I think it burned one house at the top of the hill at least, and I think it was like 95 acres. And that's a lot of acres to just blow up right away. Um, so yeah, everybody be safe. If you have a chain on your trailer, make sure it's wrapped up and doesn't drag and make sparks. If you smoke, maybe don't smoke. um, at least don't throw it out the window, that's for sure. I don't understand how people start all these fires. I don't understand how that works. I mean, I understand the mechanism, but I just don't understand how people cannot see what they're doing. Yeah, well, some people do, as as proven in what was it, Spokane, Washington? They got the arsonist in jail. Yeah, or the suspected arsonist. Um, yeah, I think most of the smoke we're getting these days is coming from the north, though, and I don't know if it's like north by way of Central Oregon or north all the way up into Washington, but I think that's where it is mostly. I'll say it again, if you guys don't have watch duty on your phone, you probably should, especially if you're in a fire prone area. I'll show you what it looks like. So, there's Oregon and Washington, and I'm the blue dot. So, the pink on there is red flag, so there's red flag warnings. And then all of the rest of those are fires. The bigger they are, the dot, the bigger the fire. So, there's a lot going on there. There's complexes because the fires have merged. There's all sorts of stuff. Um, area around my parents in Central Oregon has really just a lot of fires north of them, north in all directions of them. Well, north, and northeast, it looks like. But yeah, there's a lot of fires. And I'll show this again. This is as far as I can zoom. There's the western part of the United States. And there's even, see those blue things? Those are flood watches, or what are they called? Oh, that's a fire. What's it called? Oh, it's flash flooding warning. Okay. They also have like when the monsoons were going, they had stuff for that. Oh, looks like the eastern side is slowing down. Had a lot more fires last time I showed you guys that. So anyway, it's a good app to have, and I'm not really someone that pushes apps, but I do push Watch Duty because it's funny. It's kind of like the one thing. It's the one sound that your phone will make that everybody wants to know what it's about. Oh, where's the fire? Oh, where's the fire? And you can set it. I think the free version, which is what I have, I think you can set it to 3 different counties. Um, or you can set it to near me. Um, yeah, yeah. But yeah, Misty, I do agree with being prepared for fire stuff. Um, neighbor and I just looked at the 2 trailers that came with the property, and he said they look pretty good. I need to like kind of run around with them with the Jeep for a little bit and see how they do. Um, might need new tires, but they look like they're okay. Um, but I also need to know which ball setting it is, and then I should probably get another hitch on my RAV4 because my RAV4 does not have one. And in case of emergency, if there happen to be 2 drivers here and 2 cars here, then we can take 2 trailers here. And I'm mostly thinking of the animals. So yeah, it's good to have that kind of emergency plan. As of right now, all the animals can fit in my car, but that may change, you know? Yeah. So going back to the ratinator, there's been rats in the chicken coop for a while. I mean, you guys will see a video on this eventually. It might be a two-part video or three-part video. I don't know. I mean, I even had Ringo stay the night in there. I put my two chickens, that's all I have, into a crate for the night, and then I let Ringo loose in there. And he had a fun time. He wanted to go back in later. I'm not sure that he caught anything. And the thing is, why I put him in there is that after I put the traps in there for the first time, I caught two and then nothing else. And the thing about rats is if they see other rats get got to the end, they will not go into whatever that trap is. So I got a ratinator, like Terminator. Um, and they make mycinators, and they make squirrelinators, and they make, I don't know, whatever-inators for different things. But what it is it's a live trap that can trap multiple individuals at once. And I've been baiting it. I baited it with cat food a couple nights ago, and then last night or 2 nights ago they actually finally got into it, and then last night they got into it and moved stuff around. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll keep baiting them through until Sunday because I don't want to deal with it early on Saturday. Because I think once I start trapping, you close the trap instead of leaving the door open. They have to push it over, um, and they're trained that they now like cat food. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep training them for a few days. Maybe they'll bring in more and all get stuck together. Because I don't want to have to deal with them right before going to the garage sale stuff. So anyway, okay, and jump bag is the same as a go bag. See, I hear fire and jump bag, and I think of like the smoke jumpers, and those bags are like 200 pounds, and I don't have one of those. Nor do I plan on getting one. Yeah. I don't remember how long ago it was. Probably been a couple weeks, but talking about fires. My dad sent me an article about um, so Redmond Airport is the airport in Central Oregon that does a lot of the fire response, whether that's the tankers for the fire retardant or smoke jumpers go out of there. They're the main area that does that. And they went through a whole year's supply of retardant in 10 days. 10 days. That is how, that's how long it, like a whole year in 10 days. That's how bad it is this year. Um, yeah, it's pretty bad. Now my hope is this next year we get a good amount of rain. Not a huge amount, but a good amount. We had our huge amount last year, and then this year was dry almost, and then there you go. Um, yeah. Steve is Googling. Jump bag is typically a medical bag for first responders, but nothing wrong with you calling your go bag a jump bag. Okay, there you go. Well, Misty is a medical responder. Well, you're a nurse. Um, yeah, good idea. I'm glad that I got a lot of the trees cleared away from this house. The other house up the hill has not had that treatment yet. That's going to happen after fire season when the tree guy comes back. But it's a really good idea to do that. I'm glad that it cleared a lot of the closer trees. I still have some maples and stuff, and they need to be trimmed up. But um, as far as the Douglas firs that were really close, fairly close to the house, those are gone. So yeah, yepers. Um, I have not seen the raccoon, the young raccoon that was around. I have not seen him or her in a while. I still bring the cats food inside, and the cats know what it means when I say raccoon o'clock. Okay, guys, it's past raccoon o'clock. Time for your second dinner. Even if it's their third dinner or fourth dinner, meaning times that they've gone to the food dish. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what happened to it, but that's okay. Um, I would rather it not be here, honestly, if it's going to be getting into cat food. But like I said, in the meantime, it's going to be taken inside each time, each night, and the kitties just have to live with that. They're used to getting up in the middle of the night and eating, and I know that about them, but they might have to catch more mice. Yeah, they're catching mice. They're leaving it under my Jeep, and then it smells, and then the flies come. Anyway, that's besides the point. I keep telling them if you bring it home, you have to eat it. Like, that's just the rule. Unless it's a shrew, then you don't have to eat it because they're venomous. And yes, I did say that shrews are venomous. Not all shrews, but a lot of shrews are venomous, and that's why your cats don't eat them. The venom is in the saliva. It comes from like the back tooth area. Anyway, fun facts. All right. Do people have questions or want to know anything? I don't have quail still. It's gonna happen later. I need to get the food forest fenced and in order. I think before that, I probably should get that area leveled out um, sooner rather than later, but I have not done that, and I know the person who I'm gonna have do that has been busy. So yeah, eventually, eventually. Um, anyway, so once that other thing is up, then I'll have quail again, but I don't have them now. Smilo did lay an egg after I bought eggs from the neighbor. She does this. She's more than 5.5 years old, chicken, and she tends to lay an egg the same day or the day after I get eggs from a neighbor, and she knows it. I don't know how she does, but she knows it. Overaptor hasn't laid an egg in a very long time. She's been done for over a year, so that's one difference between Overaptor is a Buff Orpington and Smilo is a um, Barred Rock. Rexy was also a Barred Rock, and Rexy was my little super layer. She was the smallest of them, and she was medium in rank, and she laid through 2 winters. Her first 2 winters she laid through, which often is the case for laying through one winter, the first winter. If they're young, they typically will lay either all the way through or mostly through the winter, just because their biology is different. And then after that point, if they don't get added light, then they won't lay through the winter. Um, and in the past, what I've done is not put light on my chickens, but I did put light on my quail. So, yeah. Now we're still in that light time. So photo period is the day length. Is called photo period, and birds lay based on photo period. So you can extend that laying by making the photo period the period of time that there's light. Photo is light, period is, you know, length of time. Um, you can extend that by putting artificial light. And here's me. The typical rule of thumb is if you can read at the chicken's level or at the quail's level, then it's bright enough. If you can teach a chicken or a quail to read, it's extra bright enough. Um, anyway, so that's kind of the rule of thumb is if you can read with that light, then you're good. If it's, you know, brighter than that, it's brighter than that. If it's less bright than that, it's less bright than that. You do not want to do 24-hour lights. That's not good on anybody. There's physiological things that happen when you have 100% light, and it's not good. Um, but September is about the time when the light starts to change. Um, in my area at least. So that's the time to start looking at if you are going to put supplemental light on your birds, you put supplemental light starting. You want to start before they stop laying, because once they stop laying, it can take them a couple of weeks to start again. And again, with that, you're not getting more eggs out of the chicken than you would otherwise. You're just reducing her productive years. So you're producing her productive years because all chickens, like people, um, are all females are born with the eggs that they will have. They're born with all the eggs they ever will have. Boys are not born that way. Their little swimmies get created and created again. But for females, you born with all the eggs you're ever going to have, and earlier in the breeding years, those eggs for chicken can follow the photo period, and you're gonna have an egg every day when the photo period is right. Um, and then if you let them rest over the winter, then those eggs will come out the next year. If you don't let them rest during the winter, then the eggs that were going to come out naturally the next year just keep on coming out in order, of what it was going to anyway. So, um, yeah. Anyway, um, Haywood, this is a channel for homesteading. So if you have homesteading topics, we welcome that. And let us know what you're growing and where you're growing. And Misty's thanking for the clarification. Steve says, typically at the autumn equinox in late September. Yeah, and that's going to vary based on your latitude. So if you're closer to the equator, you may not need that at all. For supplemental light, you might have like things happening all year round. And if you are closer to the North Pole or to the South Pole, then you might need more supplemental light. And it's good to talk about this now, because if you haven't ever done supplemental light, and you are wanting to, then you should probably get a timer right now, because timers are where it's at, whether it's water or light or anything else. An automatic timer is going to save you tons of time, tons of headache, and as long as you pay attention, if it's not working, then you're good. So that is, it's a really good idea. And then you can get that now. Figure out what light source you're using. You can use, Christmas twinkle lights. They work just fine. Regular light bulb works just fine. Figure out what you're using, and then test to see where the light goes when you hang them up. I typically use a rope light, and that it works really well, especially if you hang it, like when I had my quail aviaries, I would hang it low, and that would give them enough light, and it would basically be um, I had something blocking the light so it didn't go out very far, but it basically covered the whole aviary there then. So yeah, good idea to think about now. But then also, once you've set that timer, you have to change it, because if you look at a sunrise sunset calendar, it is really, if you look at a sunrise sunset calendar, the sun doesn't rise the same time every day throughout the season, right? So it changes. And it doesn't do this. It goes like this, right? And so you have it getting either earlier or later for sunrise, and earlier or later for sunset, depending on the season. So you have to pay attention to when that happens for when you put on your light. Unless you want to have the light on for this amount of time every day, all the time. But I typically set it for the evening and or morning time, around the natural daylight, because they don't need it with the natural daylight. So yeah, yeah. So hey, we do homesteading stuff. So that's like gardening and orchards with fruit and raising animals. A lot of us have quail or rabbits that we raise for meat, um, and chickens and stuff for eggs. So that's what we're talking about today. Talking a little bit about the local conditions being smoky and the need to have a go bag, in case fires go. But yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. And if you have questions, you can ask questions, and we can go from there. Yeah. And you guys should watch. Have any deer gone across there? I haven't been paying attention. Um, yeah. So the deer, they should be going across there. Have you guys not seen any yet? They do that several times a day. They go across there over to the apple tree. So yeah. How are my beans doing? They're not doing great. They started, and then some of them are gone, and some of them are doing good. Not very many of them are doing good. So I don't know what's going on with that. So I talked about this a little bit in today's video. I did talk with a neighbor, and Steve says no deer yet. Um, a neighbor who has been here since '74, and she's been gardening since here since then, and she says that this year was a weird year. She didn't have beets come up. She only had a couple radishes come up. That's what happened to me. Um, she got things late out to the garden, and all of that. Yeah, yeah, they do have water. Wait, the deer or the beans? The beans have water. The deer have apples. um, Yeah, I think something ate them. That's the thing. So when I planted peas out there, which I was going to have such a great pea year, and then it didn't happen. Um, oh, bees. Did he say bees or beans? He said beans. You're saying bees. I'll get back to that. Uh, when I planted the peas, I was like so excited because I planted so many of them, and I've always wanted to plant enough to like freeze some, but yeah, something ate them that night or that morning. I think it was probably one of the towhees, which is the type of bird here. So do the bees have water? I am not watering them right now. We checked on them on, so Chuck and Barb came out. We kind of did a video. I'm gonna have to edit it to make sure we make sense. We kind of did things out of order, but they came out on Saturday before I went to the fair, and we went through my bees. The bees are looking great. They're looking fabulous. Still have not seen my queen. Um, I'm not giving them water, but the um, the flow through well drips on that side of the road, and it actually has like a little teeny tiny stream. So there's um, there's water for them there. They do also have access to all the blackberries that are out there they can cut open if they need electrolytes. And then neighbors very close have horses that have water trough. It's there, and they also have bees. So I'm kind of relying on them and the close water, which is fine. Now I do. Yeah, you did miss here. That's fine. We can ask how the bees are. It's a good thing because I actually did get into them, and there will be a video at some point. Um, so yeah, the bees are doing good. I'm not watering them. I do have. So you didn't go to the meeting on Monday, did you? You missed a good meeting on Monday. Um, So the Southern Oregon Beekeepers Association meeting, which was on Monday, it's the first Monday of the month, which is why we do today instead of Monday. And there was a researcher who's very well known, and he gave some talks, and we had some like question and answer stuff, and I came up with a interesting theory, which I'm gonna wait to expose. Hopefully, it's like some new groundbreaking stuff. But I am thinking about providing water where the bees, like internal of the electric fence for the bees, and including like rock dust on the base, and then have like water dish in that has the rock dust so they can get minerals, and then have that drip onto, it's like on a timer, have it drip onto the grounding rods, because there's 3 grounding rods 15 feet apart, and when the grounding rods are more moist, they have a higher, they have a better ground, and so they can give a better shock to a bear. So that would be like dealing with 2 issues at once, 3 issues at once: minerals, water for the bees, and making the making the grounding rods work better. So yeah. Haywood says, do potatoes grow in trees? No, potatoes grow underground. So potatoes are a part of the same family as tomatoes, and they are in the poison nightshade family. And so both potatoes and tomatoes you should never eat the leaves of. But if you're interested in growing potatoes, I don't know where you are in the world, but it might be too late for a lot of places, but you can try. If you if you ever have a potato that starts growing on, like you have it on the shelf or you have it in your pantry and it starts growing, you can plant that. You can plant it fully underneath the ground and it will grow more potatoes. So it's pretty cool. Um, Steve says our local bees get moisture from the plants we water. It's like they know when we water, you get more bee activity. Exactly. Yeah. So they do that as well. Yeah. Yeah. So they do that as well here, um, and they're also still getting nectar from a lot of things. So I actually did see when I was harvesting blackberries last night. I actually did see um, some bees going to the very, very, very few blackberry flowers that are left. And actually, there's some blackberry buds still. Not still, they're going to happen again. And um, yeah. Misty, can I share this? Misty just texted me. Can I share this? Um, anyway, so yeah, that makes sense. So they have access to water. I'm just not watering the bees specifically right now, but they do have access to water, for sure. Um, what are minerals and what is a pantry? Hey, what is so minerals are things that are found in rocks and soil. So you know how you have certain nutrients that you need to survive. You eat different things for different nutrients. There are also some things our bodies need and uh, that come from soil that the plants take up from the soil, or even from rock when the rock has degraded into smaller and smaller parts, and the little creepy crawlies eat it up, poop it out, and then the plants can access those nutrients, and we can have that in our bodies now. So that is what we're talking about. What I was talking about specifically with the bees is if you've heard of a salt lick or a mineral lick for cattle, that's kind of the idea that I was going after with that. And I have some more in-depth ideas that I need to talk through with this researcher, and he was very interested. So yeah. And a pantry is have where you put your food, and you do have minerals. All right. Misty's not answering me. I'm gonna text her back. Can I share on YouTube? Yeah, you have lots of minerals. In fact, calcium, what your bones are made out of, that's a mineral. All right, she says sure. She says, look who just showed up. So she's a couple properties away from me. And there we go. That's her watering hole with a bear. So I don't know if that's Mama, but it's a pretty good sized bear. And so that's just a couple properties away. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Misty. Um, yeah, so we all get different minerals from our food, and actually I've shared this on here before. When I moved here, um, so I have well water now. I used to have, water that was processed by the city, and they take stuff out and put stuff in and all this stuff. But I have well water now, and it has filter, and it actually is a little high in aluminum, and so I have a reverse osmosis filter on the drinking water. It's in the kitchen. So and it have the type that puts minerals back in, but I have a feeling it doesn't put all the minerals back in. Very small particle, and so if you're using a Brita filter, you're not getting the aluminum. It's too small for a Brita filter, and um, so the reverse osmosis is really, as far as I understand, either the only way or the only reasonably non-expensive way to get the aluminum out. And you don't want aluminum. Your body needs some aluminum, but your body does not need a whole bunch of aluminum because it ends up doing some bad things. Um, but when I was here for after a little while, I was having some really big um, cravings, and I was craving the seaweed snacks. Those little like flat dehydrated seaweed, and I was craving coconut water. And both of those things are just okay to me in general. So like a seaweed snack, comes in a big pack, and I might have like one sheet, and that would be enough. I'm not a salt person. Um, and coconut water was like, it's okay. But I was having like big cravings for that, and so once I figured out, oh, this is something that my diet is missing, obviously, if I'm having that kind of craving for it. Once I incorporated that regularly into my diet, not like every day, but into my diet, that's good. And I actually started having Gator Light because it has some of the other and some of the other good things for your body in it. Also has sugar, whatever. And what is important about that is hydration of everything happens with minerals and the appropriate nutrients. You have to have those electrolytes to be hydrated. If you just drink water, your body and your muscles aren't necessarily hydrated. You have to have the electrolytes with it and the appropriate electrolytes with it in order for your connective tissue to be hydrated, your muscles to be hydrated, all of that. So you can drink a bunch of water, but if you're not having the right electrolytes, your body can stay dehydrated. And that's what was happening to me. And I've since, I believe, corrected that. Yeah, Gatorade. It's there's another thing that they make. It's called Gator Light, and I think all it is it has less sugar. It doesn't taste as terrible. I know that. Gatorade to me tastes terrible, but yeah, yeah. And Steve says iron, zinc, iodine, copper, manganese are in the human body as well. I mean, we all need even a tiny bit of arsenic, right? A tiny bit of a lot of different things. Not too much. Too much would be bad. Yeah. So Steve says if you take a vitamin, look at the ingredients, it'll show you minerals that it gives you. Exactly. The science appears to be out to lunch on this. No, there's a lot of science with minerals. Yep, there's a lot. So yeah. Anyway, minerals are important. And I know I haven't used it here yet, but at my old place, I used azomite. It's a rock dust, and rock dust can be really important. I think depending on where you are and what nutrients and minerals you have in your soil. So the mineral part comes from rock or soil, which is broken down rock, and nutrients are more the a lot of what we think of as nutrients are actually minerals, but a lot of nutrients come from compost or living things or things that used to be living. Um, and so the use of rock dust, what that does, so a lot of the plants that we grow are not native to here. They grew up with different conditions, different soil conditions. Soil conditions can change the way your food tastes. It can also change the nutrients in your food. So, you know, if they say carrots are good for, was it vitamin K? I don't remember. Um, then you could only have vitamin K if it comes from somewhere. You can't just plant a carrot and all of a sudden have vitamin K. If you want a healthy food, it has to update that from somewhere. And so when you add things like, I'm just using an example. It could be any of these things. When you add things like compost and rock dust, that's where all of those things come from. And specifically for minerals and mineral support, rock dust can be important because you may be bringing minerals that do not occur naturally where you are. So there's volcanic minerals, there's sea minerals, there's azomite comes from Utah. It's A2Z A Z O. I don't know. It's A to Z of minerals and trace elements, I think is what it stands for. And what that is it's literally rock that has been ground up into a dust. You put it in on your garden, you water it in, and then throughout that season, all of the bacteria and the insects and the little creepy crawlies, they will process it through their systems. And when they excrete it out, it becomes available for the plants to take up. Then the plants take it up, and those nutrients and minerals get into you. So that's how that process works. And I know azomite several years ago, they used to think it didn't affect the current crops, it affected the next year's crops. But they actually did some studies and it does affect current year's crops. So you can make that difference really, really quickly with this year's crops if you add it this year. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think, Haywood, I think you're getting information from some interesting sources. Um, there's definitely, yeah, I think maybe um, checking your sources on some of that stuff will help you. And yeah, you don't have to take vitamins to be healthy, but if your diet lacks it, then it's a good idea. Same thing, like you don't have to take minerals to be healthy. But if your food is taking up those minerals and you are then eating that food, then you'll be eating healthier food and you'll be having these minerals and nutrients in your body because of the food you eat. So in a lot of cases, it's not what you eat, it's what you eats. So what do the plants uptake? What do the animals uptake that you eat? Or the plants uptake that you eat? And that's how you get the nutrients. So um, a carrot isn't going to be the same nutrient layout for every single carrot that's out there. Um, a apple isn't going to have the same nutrient layout for every single apple out there, even if it's the same type. It's going to be basically um, dependent on a whole bunch of different things. So yeah, how you grow, where you grow, what types of thing you're growing, all get input to that. Steve says, I eat beef, cows eat grass, thus I'm a vegetarian second generation. I don't think it works that way. I don't think it works that way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and actually knowing what your food eats is really important. I mean, I'm going to sound ridiculous, and I know I'm going to sound ridiculous. You can also look it up. Um, there was an incident several years ago now, and it involved Skittles and a semi truck that was carrying a load of red Skittles, and it crashed. And everybody's like, "Why is there a truck full of red Skittles? And where are you going?" And it was going to cattle. They were on their way to feed red Skittles to cattle. Now, I don't know how much you guys know about evolutionary biology, but Skittles is not on the menu. Cows have the four chambers of the stomach to deal with plants, not Skittles. Um, was it in France? I didn't remember where it was from. If you find the article, you can link it, Steve. Um, Yeah, I don't remember where it's from, but I just remember the ridiculousness of it. I thought it was an Onion article. I didn't think it was true, and then it's like, oh no, this has really happened. What? And that is that's a something that cattle are not prepared to live off of Skittles. Um, but it turns out that's when kind of the lid got blown off of that, where cattle are fed a lot of things that cattle are not supposed to have. So are a lot of animals. So it does really matter. Wisconsin, okay. What was in France? So the Skittles were in Wisconsin. You mix up trust. Now I want to know what happened in France. Um, anyway, so yeah, that's something to watch out for. Is when you raise your own food, you know whether or not you're feeding your cattle Skittles. And hopefully the answer is no. So yeah. Thanks for the link, Steve. Yeah, so if you guys are curious about that, yeah, CNN did an article on it. 2017? Yeah, 2017 article. And that's for the Wisconsin incident. And so, yeah, knowing what your food eats is a really big idea. And I cannot imagine beef raised on Skittles, etc., being as healthy as pasture raised beef. I can just I can see that there might be some nutrient differences between those two meats. And that's definitely not disclosed, right? Um, the same is going to be true for how vegetables and fruits are grown. And I know I've been through the Central Valley of California many, many times. And beef raised, so bow tie, click on the link that Steve put up like 2 comments before you. And if you haven't heard of that, now you have. It's a real thing that happened in 2017, or at least the article was 2017. Yeah. Anyway, so this is we're talking about knowing where your food comes from and what your food eats. So, going back to, if you look at a lot of the farms in the Central Valley, California, which is, an agricultural power on its own, worldwide. Uh, they have plants, like they have orchards with nothing growing underneath. Nothing. It's dirt. You look at almond orchards and they want dirt because they shake the trees and then they have a sweeper that sweeps up the almonds. You're going to have a more healthy, not only fruit, but also ecosystem in those areas if you plant more things and if you take care of the soil in a different way other than just, very dry, uncovered soil. So yeah. Um, yeah, Haywood, I think if you're drinking that, you might not be concerned about the other things you're being concerned about. Sweet beef. Oh my gosh. Bowtie says, Triple G, greetings, global gardeners from the Emerald Coast, where grapes are almost ready. Ooh. Pomegranates aren't far behind, and the summer harvest just keeps on giving. It is just wrong. It is just wrong. And it happened. And it's probably still happening. Yeah. So, yeah, welcome, Bowtie. Bowtie is from Florida. And yeah, I have green tomatoes on one of the tomato plants. So it's going, I think, well. I'm hoping that these last couple days of heat, I think my tomatoes are fine with that much heat. Black Crim and Purple Cherokee um are a couple of the uh non-hybrid, so heirloom varieties of tomatoes that do well in higher heat. However, as I learned when I was at my old property where we got really major heat, 115, etc., um, the hybrids do better in super, super, super high heat. So you're kind of stuck with that if you have super, super high heat. You might be stuck with a hybrid if you want tomatoes or figure out how to give your tomatoes a cooler area. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Shawnee. I just read the chat and raised my eyebrows. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. You measured 5 minutes? I don't know. How do you measure 5 minutes? Anyway. Anyway, yeah. So when you raise your own food, you know where it comes from. You know how it was grown. Um, if it's an animal, you know how it was been dispatched. All of that. So Um, thank you, Shawnee, for understanding the tone of Bowtie's comment. The more you know. Bling. I do that sometimes, and people look at me like I'm crazy. Bowtie says, I was wondering how long a live chat would stay active after the live itself was over. You mean if we just let this go and you guys typey, typey, typey? Yeah. Um, maybe a while, maybe not. Depends on the conversation. Depends how many times we mention cattle eating Skittles. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous thing, and that's one thing that I do talk about in my when I do the rabbit workshop is, why people should, why I feel I should be involved in my own food production as far as meat goes, and that's one example that I give because I remember when that article came out and it was just like, what is wrong with the world here? Skittles, cattle? That's so stupid. But I'm sure it's still going on. They fed all sorts of junk. Yeah. If I'm going to eat, I'm not saying I don't eat junk. I do eat junk. But I choose to eat the junk knowingly. you know? Steve says about 4 minutes if she turns off the stream itself. Oh, you mean the chat continues after it's gone? Okay. Botai says I laid tile in the kitchen today, cutting backsplash tiles tomorrow. Going to try to get our kitchen functional by the end of day Monday. Good luck and congratulations. I still have not tiled my shower. I yeah, I need to actually take some days off because I want to have a span of time to do that in. Right now it just has that what does it have? It's red. It's waterproofing stuff in there. Here we go. You've been out of the kitchen for 6 weeks, but you have a barbecue, right? How long does it take for grout to dry? It depends what kind, and it's usually I think like 24 hours, and then I think within 48 hours. I'm remembering a long time ago when I did my other bathroom, in my old house. I think it wants to be sealed after like 48 hours or something like that. Um, Haywood, this might not be the channel for you, and that's fine. Because I am thinking the same thing about you. So there you go. Um, and if this is not the channel for you, that is fine. All right, Shawnee says, can you tell me your thoughts about a flow hive for a person with Minnesota winters? Going to answer bow ties first thing. Yep, 24 to 48 hours technically. Yep. So Shawnee, I don't have a flow hive, but I know someone who does, and he loves them. And we have winter here, but we don't have winter like we don't have Minnesota winter. um, he likes his flow hives, and they work well for him. I do not know anything about how they might be different in winter. My understanding is a flow hive is actually the top part, at least how. Thanks, Bowtie. He says we come here to worship the words of Trina. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, so I believe it is only the top. I'm not an expert in this at all. I believe it's only the top part, what would be considered like a honey super, that you put the flow hive on. Although things can be called flow hives, but I think the part that actually is like the mechanical part of it goes on the top. And basically, there's a crank that then separates the honey, and it's already angled so that it will flow, and you have your jar to catch it. And the person who I know that has some likes his, he also has other types. What I would do is I would look up. Oh my gosh, what is their name? That 70s homestead. What is their name? You guys know who I'm talking about. Um, they're retired now. They're in the Midwest somewhere. Is that what it's called? That 70s homestead? Um, 70s homestead. That 1870s homestead. Yeah, look up them on YouTube. I have to find you guys again. Where'd you go? There you are. Thank you. Yeah, Shawnee got it. So look up them, and because they had winters as well, and I know he had some opinions on it, and I don't remember. I think he was not going to go with them anymore, and I don't remember why. So I would try and find people who actually have them who have winter like you do, and see what they say. Yeah, yeah, so he does have some videos on it, and I don't know how searchable those videos are. I don't know that they named things like that. But I do know someone who has several and he loves them, but he also doesn't have your type of winter. So, yeah. Um Shawnee says, yeah, I think it seems good. I originally wanted horizontal hives. So if you're talking about top bar hives, a lot of people do that. The only cautionary against that, and again, I'm about that's much of an expert here, right? Um, is if it gets super hot, which I know it does where you are, they can literally fall off the top bar. So I don't know how often that happens. I just know it can happen. And Bowtie's laughing. Um, Janet says, you are correct. I have a friend with a couple I do not like. Okay. So, Janet also have or has or had bees. Do you have bees again? This fly found its way inside the house. So frustrating. Okay. Um, okay, Steve says 48 to 72 hours after grout before sealing. Maybe Tuesday you can have a kitchen. You know what? You don't have to seal the grout to use the countertop. There you go. Bowtie says Weedy loves his flow hive. Yeah, I would talk to someone who, yeah, it doesn't have the winters, and that's the cautionary thing that I was thinking about Bowtie is that if because her winters are like, how cold does it get where you are, Shawnee? It gets freezing, 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 right? Yeah, email them for sure. And that's different than Southern Oregon temperatures that get. I mean, it freezes, but it's not going to stay frozen forever. Um, but also, I personally don't have a clear understanding of what all the flow hive is, because my understanding is it's the top part that gets cracked open when the honey flows down, and it's like a super. It's using a super, which is just honey. I don't know if a flow hive, like if they sell it as like a hive and that's what it is, and then all this top part happens to have that flow capability. Um, yeah, yeah, but definitely check that out. Oh my gosh, Misty, I'm sharing these. Oh. So we've been, Misty, are you still on here? I've been getting texts from Misty, who was on earlier, and I asked her about a bear, and she hadn't seen one. She showed me a picture, and this, come on, why is it not going big? Okay, well, it's gonna be small. So that's it going away from the little pond, and then why is my phone being weird? Okay, she says thumbs up to sharing. There we go. That one went big. Look at that. Look at that. So that's today. That's tonight. It was quite warm when that little one made a bath. That's pretty cute. So sorry that interrupted, and I'm like, I wonder if she's doing this, and she is. That is so cute. I have a spring up the hill that has a not that big, but it has a little kind of pond thing. I should put a camera up there for sure. Okay, back to Flow Hive. Yeah, there's some interesting grouts these days. That's true. Bowtie says our grout has the stuff in it that makes it automatically sealed. If you don't have the stuff, then it's every 6 months. Okay, so here's the issue, Bowtie. -40 with the wind, but I think she'd probably -40 without the wind too. Um, Bowtie saying only consider actual temps. At what point do you consider that it's just freaking cold? Bowtie says your temps will concern me. I know some people wrap their hives in the really cold. Yeah. No, that's not a cat. Are you being serious? Or are you being silly? That is not a cat. That'd be a bear, dear. You missed our first one. That's a bear. Let me go back a couple. Okay, this was the first one she shared today. Is that a cat? That's along the lines of, can I pet that dog? No, I didn't use the right accent. Um, yes, so there are people that will put blankets in their hive. There are people who insulate their hives anyway for heat and cold. And there are people who, for the season, will kind of shut up their hive in insulation. As long as some air gets in and out, it's good. Yeah, and Johnny says around here they're app hives. It's like asking if your alligators are lizards. Oh, I like that, Steve. -52. Looks like a black hairy mushroom. Lot bigger. Lot bigger. So I was asking her when she was on earlier, I was asking her if she'd seen her mama bear because there's a mama bear with triplets. Um, and I haven't I haven't seen her yet, but I also haven't been up the hill very much. But we know she's been around, hence the electric fence on the bees. So, yeah. Anyway, it is way past 8, and I probably should go feed animals. And I don't know, Janet, if you're still on here, if you would like to come by to get the water bath canner, you can. I'll be up for a little bit. Um, Bowtie says coldest temp I have ever experienced is actual temp of -52. That's the temp I personally consider too cold. Okay, but was -40 any warmer? Really? Did it feel warmer? Like, is there a temperature at which it does not actually feel colder? It's just freaking cold? Because I think that's probably true. I think so. Um, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna watch this first. She did a video. I'm gonna share it. Yes, Misty, I am. -40 felt like Miami. Oh my gosh. Steve says too cold for me is 39. All right, Bowtie, you ready for an actual video? All right, sounds good, Janet. That's not a kitty cat. That's not a kitty cat. That's a big. It's not actually a big one. Yes, it is a video. Good job. Um, cool. Janet says I went snowboarding in 32, 31, and 17. The 17 day was the warmest feeling day I went. It probably was because the sun was out, right? Yeah. I don't know how cold I've been in. I don't think it was too terribly cold when I was in Alaska. I know it was cold because I bought a scarf and I'm not a scarf person. Um, and I went to school in Iowa and it was really cold there. Like you could throw a pot of boiling water, don't throw the pot, into the air and it would fall and crack as ice on the sidewalk. It was that cold. And I don't know how cold it has to be that, but it's definitely less than zero. I would say growing up, we always hit zero in the winter, but never really stayed there for very long. I think there might have been one winter that happened. Here, the coldest has been so far is 14, I think. And we're talking Fahrenheit. Yeah, exactly. Steve says it all depends if there was sun or not. Exactly. Yeah. Um, Bowtie says, so there's a video of a bear swimming up to the beach here in Destin a couple of years ago. Just swam up, walked between dozens of tourists and into the dunes, hung out in backyards for a month. Sounds like Tahoe. um, Sometimes they don't care, you know? Sometimes they do not care. Um, the only bear experience I've had here so far, and I'm knocking on some wood, is right back here. There was um, a uh, a youngish bear, like a yearling, and it got some stuff that I left out and kept coming back, and finally it stopped coming back. But I also heard a gunshot. Sorry, I just said the word I wasn't supposed to say. I also heard a pew pew. And so I'm wondering if that was the end of that one. Um, and then there's a really good video. I did a really good video. That sounds anyway. Um, I have a video about a bear taking um, a roadkill deer. And that is a pretty neat video. It's a big boy. He climbed over the camera, picked it up, moved it across the road, dropped it, picked it up, moved it, dropped it, picked it up, moved it, dropped it, and then at some point started dragging it. And he dragged it on the road right in front of the house, and then back up onto my property. And my parents were here, and I tracked it with them, and I put up a couple of cameras. It ate like everything. I thought, boy, this guy's in a food coma right now. Nope, he came back. He came back that night and finished it off. Most of the bones gone. Yeah. Um, Bote says they say it was probably out on the sandbars a few hundred feet out, walked parallel to the shore from nearby preserve, a mile away. It got tired and swam in. Yeah. I bet it was big news. I bet it was. Um, yeah. Yeah, so those are my two bear stories, and I don't need any more. The one that took the roadkill was very cool, but I don't need them near my animals or near the house. So, yeah. Janet says it was doing that special pebble snow thing. Yep. Is it corn snow? Oh, grapple. Okay. Called grapple, but for some reason it just felt warmer that day. Snow can make it feel warmer because it's less humid. So humidity makes it hotter and colder. That's something I definitely have learned here because I grew up in the high desert. There is no moisture. And I mean, I'm usually in a tank top anyway, but yeah, here if there's moisture in the air and it's a little cold, I feel a lot more than a colder temperature that's dry. Yeah, grapple is like soft hail. There's all sorts of names for these things. My dad knows all that stuff. Um, I haven't paid enough attention to pay attention to the different types of like corn snow versus grapple. Yeah, 12 or oh, I didn't read the first part. Bowtie says I had a wild bear come up behind me and touch my hand once. I will have to tell that story one day. 12 or 14. Oh my gosh. Sue says if a bear touched my hand, I'd need new pants. Exactly. Soft hail. Good description. Yeah, no, my bear experience. I mean, the story that I tell when someone asks about bears is about a grizzly bear, and that was out at Glacier National. I think it was a monument at the time. I don't know what it is now. National Park, National Monument, whatever. And I went on this big road trip, and I did it in my RAV4, and there was one camping spot left at the last campground in the park, and it was a hard camping only, so you couldn't have a tent. You couldn't, if you had a camper that popped out, you couldn't pop it out. It had to have solid things. And the reason for that is because there were grizzlies around. And, the campsite kitty corner from me had caution tape all over it. And I'm like, what's that about? And they're like, oh, some people left some food out. And so grizzly bear came there, and we're just making sure that nobody goes there because it could be dangerous. And I'm like, it's pretty close. Pretty close. Apparently works. Cleanest campground I've ever seen. No trash, no food trash whatsoever. Um, but I went hiking, and at Glacier National Monument um, you can have there's a bus that can pick you up, and you can get dropped at multiple different places, and so you can do, instead of a loop, you can do a one way, so that they pick you up at the end, and as long as you're there by last ride, you'll get back to your campground. And it was a 15-mile hike, and I like to go the wrong way, right? So most people will go um, s- slow, gradual uphill and then steep downhill. I don't like to do that because it's better on your knees to go steep uphill than steep downhill. And yeah, don't miss that last ride, exactly. And so I was going the opposite of what most people did. And so I was a couple hours into the hike and 15 miles. It's an all day thing. Um, and at elevation. And I just get to the spot where there's a bunch of switchbacks. And so it's literally like this. Like you can look at the hill and you can see the switchbacks. Like it's that steep. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna sit on this giant rock. I'm gonna sit on this rock here. If you're a hiker, you know this. You take off your boots, let them air out before the big climb. I had some snacks out, and eating stuff, having a little break. And Bowtie says, "Are you saying you like being a contrary person, just in hiking?" And so yeah, I'm there with no boots on and food out, and I see, measured this later on Google Earth, 200 feet away, not very far when the other thing on the other side of that is a grizzly bear. 200 feet away, a grizzly bear comes out of the tree line, and she doesn't smell me, she doesn't see me, anything, and I'm like, oh great, I'm out here by myself. Didn't have bear spray. That was stupid. I have bear spray now. Um, I'm like, okay. And so, you want to make sure the bear is aware of you. And so I started like, I had my camera in my pocket here and I just took it out. I'm like, I'm going to film this because it's cool. There's a bear and I can just do that. So I was like this and I was like doing a very slow chicken dance. Like, okay, bear. Like I didn't want to like go, I'm here. Um, I I wanted to make sure it knew where I was, but I wasn't too threatening. Anyway, it saw me, but it didn't, matter because, you guys notice I did tell you the gender of the bear? Out pops baby. Out pops baby grizzly bear. And Mama bear, once she sees me, she kind of does this little like, okay, I see you. I'm gonna go that way. She turns around, lumbers down the path away from me, and oh no, I'm good in the dark, Janet. You can come with me if you want. I have good light and I have bear spray. Um so anyway, so I'm like watching Mama Bear go away from me, but then Baby Bear is like, "Hi, I've never seen you before. What are you? I'm not familiar with you. I think I want to check you out." So now I'm like, baby, follow your mama over there, go get her. Like, mama, your baby's here. I'm literally like telling them these things. And finally, that little booger, mom must have called it or something because it literally was like, okay, I'm coming. I mean, it was, you know, okay, I'm distracted now. Thank goodness, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I had closed my food. Like that makes a difference. Their nose is better than a Ziploc bag. But I had closed my food. But so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay here a little bit, make sure they're actually gone. And here's what I didn't know. And here's what if I was to be in a similar situation now, I would hope that my brain would kick into gear enough to do this. I had tunnel vision. I didn't know I had tunnel vision. I didn't know it until well after that I was not seeing out here. I was only seeing down that pathway, probably about that big. I wasn't seeing anything else. I I put my boots on. Okay, they've gone down that pathway, whatever. And I start going up the switchbacks. And like I said, the switchbacks are very steep, and so you don't actually go very far, very fast. And so I'm there, and all of a sudden I hear whistles, like people have for bears. And there's a whistle, and it's coming from the direction that the bear went in. And I'm like, oh great, oh great. This mama has a baby, and there's people trying to get it away, and there's going to be like something happen. So I just stayed still, and I'm like, I don't know. what to do. Obviously, I'm not going to go down there right now, but and so then they finally emerged from the trees, and I yelled down there like, "Hey, did you see the bear?" Because they were just like laughing and joking. Like, what? I go, yeah, and then I told them what happened. They're like, what? So we talked a little bit. I'm up here, they're down there. We can see each other and talk to each other just fine because, again, super, super thing. Are bear whistles a bad thing? No, a bear whistle is literally, it's just people that hike have whistles and they will blow a whistle when a bear is there to scare the bear off. That's all it is. Um, so, and Steve says, I wouldn't have needed bear spray. I'd have a different smell. And Bote says bear spray is just T-Rex urine. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that it's just literally noise to make the bear go away. So that's why I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Um, so I filled them in, and then they're like, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna stop, and then we'll take a break at that same rock, right? And so then I keep on going, and I'm making a sound at every switchback corner because switchback corners you can't see around because corners go like this and like this, whereas the level areas you can see down, you can see up. Um, so I'm going, and go around one switchback corner. I see a mama butt and a baby butt. Remember I told you about that closing in? I did not see them walk around me. I should have because there were no trees or huge rocks or anything around me. They went down that trail, turned around, and went by me. I have no idea how close. I have no idea. But that's why I'm hoping that my instincts would kick in to go, oh, let me look to the sides as well as down there, look to the sides as well as down there in the future. Because that's really, really scary when you realize that far after the fact that you have had tunnel vision and did not acknowledge it. Anyway, so I see them going up. I'm like, all right, well, we're just going to keep on going. They look like they're going somewhere. And at some point, people started coming down. And they would tell me, oh yeah, hey, there's a mama bear and a baby bear. I'm like, I know, here's my story. I told it so many times going up the hill. But as the people came down, the stories of the bear got further away, so that's fine. When I got up to the top, they were already down by a glacier lake with some elk, so they were good. Don't worry, I got back to the bus in time to get back. But that was a story. And then what did I do? I went into like one of the bookstores and I'm like, oh, I want to know more about grizzlies. It's not what you do when you're camping by yourself in a place that grizzlies are. At least I was in the car. So I'm reading the back of this jacket and find out that, two grizzlies on the same night killed two people on separate ends of the park. And and this and that and this and that. Like they were sleeping. Just, you know. Uh, I did not go all the way to the bathrooms when I needed to go to the bathroom. You bet I just opened that car door and went right there. I'm not going to go wandering around in the dark where there are grizzly bears. And there was bushes right next to the bathroom. And so I'm like, I'm not going to chance that. No. So anyway, that's my grizzly bear story. Yeah, Bote says that is scary. And Bote says, oh good, I thought maybe you got stuck up there and just built your house up there. No, no. Yeah, it's a good story. Yeah, I mean it was an interesting experience, but it was definitely an experience that made me realize the shortcomings of our biology to literally stare down where this thing went, even though you can't see it, and not take in what's around you. And I'm always cognizant of what's around me. That's the thing. Some people aren't. I always am. And so that's why it's such a different thing for me, is because I really should have done that, but it wasn't what happened. Sue says, good thing, or that's where the light would be from. Boda says, it's 10:30 here. I am getting goofy. All right. I am going to go quick feed kitties and bunnies. And Janet, if you want to come by, I'll turn on the front porch so you know where to turn. If not, you can get it later. That's fine too. Um, but yeah. All right. So I'm going to go do that. Thank you guys for coming. And if you are around town tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Saturday, there are a bunch of garage sales. Look it up, and there you go. Raccoon o'clock. It's past raccoon o'clock, but the cats have, well, it's not raccoon o'clock yet. It's not quite dark. It looks like it's dark back here, but that's because there's trees. And not quite at raccoon o'clock. But the cats haven't been fed yet, so they they would like to be fed, I'm sure. Um, Bowtie says, I now like watching out your window for deer like the other day. Yeah, it's a good thing. All right, guys. I am going to head out. I hope your evening is good and I don't cause you nightmares and that we learn something. And there you go. Next Monday will be live chat. And then the following Sunday will be the Cook With Me Live. So if you would like to sign up for that, its membership is very, very inexpensive. It's like $4 or $5 a month. And we spend a lot of time together once a month cooking something fun. So there you go. And have a wonderful night. Thanks for coming. And yeah, raccoon clock. All right, guys, we will see you later. We'll see you Monday.